right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Inside the 12. I'm Casey Honigbaum, and today I'm joined by the 10th head coach in Arizona women's basketball history. It's Coach Becky Burke. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, absolutely. We're excited to have you, and I can imagine, you're excited too to take over, a storied program in the women's college basketball game and college basketball in general. And I kind of want to start off by asking you, you're coming to Arizona after leading Buffalo to, I mean, a program record 30 wins, a WNIT championship, and I think probably a lot of people want to know how you plan on taking the success that you had there and now bringing it to Arizona.
Yeah, doing things the way that I've done them my entire career. I've really not changed who I am or how I do things or, what I believe in since the day I got my first head coaching job. Like I've really stayed true to myself and my standards and my expectations and the way that I hold my players accountable. And, it's not going to change here at Arizona. I've gotten here by doing things a certain way for a really long time. And it's proven to work and have success. And so for me to come here and change anything, I think would be silly, but going to stay true to myself, what I believe in, holding our players to high standards, being a high level competitor that I am, and making sure that that feeds and bleeds off onto our players a little bit.
Yeah, you're like helping do my job for me because that was literally my next question. You're like leading me into it perfectly. One of the coolest things you said in an interview was that, you said I'm in the top 1% of competitive people on the planet. I think a lot of athletes and coaches um, can probably relate to that. But how do you channel that as a coach and, you know, I guess positively put that onto your players when you're coaching them?
Yeah, I think it's who I am as a person. It's really authentic. It's genuine. It's not forced. It's not like I try to be this like hardcore coach that acts
Yeah.
competitive. Like it's genuinely like in my DNA. And so I think the players that come here to play for me understand that and know that about me, and they want to be around that and they want to be coached by somebody like me. And I'm very honest about that in the recruiting process. Like channeling my competitiveness is easy in practice because like I'm getting hype in the drills as if I'm winning the drill, as if I'm in there as somebody's teammate. It's just naturally who I am, I think is the best way to describe it. So like if you want to come be coached by somebody like me, you're getting this side of me every single day, every single time I'm at practice. As a coach, I act like the same way I would as if I was at practice as a player. Like the energy, the competitiveness, the attention to detail, the accountability, like all of that is the same way that I played. And I think it's the reason that I've had a lot of success relating to our players and them really feeding off of what I do as a coach, and that same energy is because I did it the same way as a player, and it's real, authentic, genuine.
Yeah. I think, one of the more interesting things to ask, coaches who were former players is what kinds of things have you taken specifically from your playing career that you're now not only have been, but plan to translate into your coaching career?
I think everything, like it's like, you take in the good and the bad, you take the things that you liked and you try to, do those as a coach, and you take the things
Yeah.
that you didn't like and you're like, man, I'm never going to do that with my players. So like you just take the good and the bad. And I think, like I always just put my player hat on. Like I really, really do. I just say, okay, what did I have a hard time understanding or grasping as a player that I need to really figure out a good way to teach, or, I need to figure out another way to do this because as a player, I just didn't understand it. There's so many different things that as a player, you either liked or didn't like or understood or didn't understand, that you can then take that feedback from your experience as a player and then apply it as a coach. And so it doesn't mean that I was always right in the things that I liked and didn't like or understood and didn't understand, but like it's just the experience that I had. And so I really try to correct those things or spend more time on those things, as a coach now, put things in a way that players can understand, be able to relate to them while teaching them certain things. And so it's invaluable. I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
coaches that are never played women's basketball. I have. And so I guess it's a easier transition for me to be able to teach things and help my players understand because I was in their shoes.
Yeah. I think another thing that you've done that not a lot of coaches have is, I mean, you helped start a program, but, previously at Embry-Riddle. And I wonder what kind of experience you gained from that specifically has helped your coaching career, because I think that's something that's super unique.
Yeah, I took a really non-traditional route in my coaching career. Like I just wanted to be a head coach really, really young. Like I knew I could do it. And so I did start at the NAIA level. And most people think like if they want to be a head coach, they have to go be like a Power Four assistant. And like that's really not true. I got to be a head coach at the age of 24 and I got to start my own program and like transformational 3 years in my career by having to literally do it all. Like I had a part-time assistant, like so I did everything and just got to literally solve problems on my own, figure things out, find myself and who I was going to be in coaching and my voice and what I believed in and how I wanted to do things and just not have anybody question it or think twice. Like it was just, okay, this is your program. Here's the keys. Threw me into an empty office and I problem solved, figured it out, found my voice. Like it was just unbelievable. I think everything in my career has lined up so perfectly so far to equip me and enable me to be ready for this opportunity at Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned too, a lot of people think they have to start as a power four assistant, but now you're a power four head coach. And I want to know whether maybe it was a specific thing that drew you to the Big 12 and Arizona in particular. And I think a lot of, what we talk about or have talked about this year, not only, not just with basketball, but most sports in particular in the Big 12 is very competitive. And the league itself is, it seems top to bottom like it's super competitive. What was it about the Big 12 and Arizona that drew you to it?
Well, I think the Big 12 has the most parity, and I think the Big 12 you have an opportunity to win every single year. There's obviously the top teams in the Big 12, but I think those teams fluctuate every few years. So, you've got schools in the SEC that like have been at the top for 20 years. It's never changed, it's never fluctuated. I really feel like there's an opportunity in the Big 12 for any team to win it on any given year. And I think that's what you want is you want to be able to recruit kids that have a chance to play for a Big 12 championship at Arizona. And we're going to be able to do that here. Not to say the teams that are at the top every year like aren't going to be able to stay there, but there is more opportunity for other people to win the league in this league than there might be in the ACC or the SEC. So I really, really liked that. I like how competitive it is from top to bottom, opportunity to win a championship. And then just, being here at Arizona, like I chose this place. I had other opportunities and I chose to be here at Arizona, because of, it starts at the top with the leadership with Desiree, our athletics director. She's absolutely incredible. Her and I are really aligned on our vision and what we want for this women's basketball program. And we're really aligned in our mentality and the way that we do things and our personalities are very, very similar. And so I wanted to work for somebody like that. And I think the leadership, the administration is super, super critical. And when you decide to take a job, how much support you're going to get. Obviously the brand of Arizona basketball speaks for itself. It's a national brand. This is a place that we are going to be able to recruit the top players in the country. We are going to be able to bring future WNBA draft picks here to Arizona. We're going to be able to compete for Big 12 championships and national championships because of that. And then you just take a look at the city of Tucson and the palm trees and the mountains and 350 days of sunshine every year. I mean, why would you not want to be at a place like this on a campus that looks like a beach resort? I mean, it's the total package. We got to be able to take an opportunity that you feel like you can get it done from a recruiting standpoint. And there's absolutely no question that's here at Arizona.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, I know you haven't, gotten the chance to coach in arena yet with the fans, but have you been able to see, what that fan, I guess some of the fan reaction and what they mean to you? And as a coach, I got to imagine having the support of a fan base like the fans at Arizona, it's got to mean a lot to you.
We're top 10 in the country in the nation in women's basketball attendance. And
Yeah.
that speaks volumes. This city is so invested and so involved in what our team is doing and investment in women's basketball is hard to find. I know it's gaining popularity, but like to come out and play in front of 9,000 people every night is absolutely insane. And I'll give you an example. We just had a little casual meet and greet for our team last night so people could get to know our new staff and get to know our new team. And we were expecting about 100 people. We were pushing 500 people last
Oh,
night
wow.
at our casual meet and greet.
Wow.
It was standing room only. There was no space left. They had to turn people away at the door. And this is something that we just announced on social media a couple times. So to kind of just give you perspective of just a turnout of something like that last night about what these fans mean to our program and what we mean to them. It's a two-way street. It is not like this everywhere. We're extremely fortunate, which again is another reason why we're going to be able to recruit the best players in the country here to want to come play in front of a fan base like this.
I want to ask, from your perspective, obviously it's going to be an adjustment for everyone, yourself, the players, whatever, but how do you balance all of that as a brand new head coach coming in? Obviously, you talked about your kind of unique experience starting a program from scratch, but how does one balance from those who might not understand? What does that look? Peel back the curtain for us. What does that look like as someone coming in, having to balance all of that at a new program for yourself?
Yeah, I think nobody's expectations are higher than ours for ourselves. And we walked into a situation that I think everybody's very, very aware of. I was the
Yeah.
last Power Four head coach hired very late in the cycle. And um, you know, our expectations for this year were to hit the portal and get the best available players, which I think we did. And then are to compete and keep the momentum and the excitement about our program up. And that is what we were going to do this year in the Big 12. And that's what we're going to do through the non-conference and through our entire first season is, okay, come give us a chance, watch us, show you guys that we play harder than everybody in the country. We're well prepared. We execute. There's a great product on the floor, really good women's basketball to watch, to have fun, the experience, the environment, to love on our players for the great human beings and great players that they are. And then and to get us through to our first quote unquote like real recruiting cycle where we're going to be able to bring in the players that we have a little bit more time to evaluate and build relationships with and those types of things. And nobody expects this to happen overnight. But like I said, we expect to win a lot of basketball games this season, and there's nobody that has higher expectations for us than we have for ourselves. And so everybody's been patient, understanding. They realize what we walked into and the fact that this doesn't happen overnight. And I know it doesn't happen overnight, but I've never subscribed to that. I know it doesn't happen overnight, but I know that it can happen quickly. And that's really what I've done throughout my career and what I plan on doing here at Arizona. So it is hard because I have national championship expectations every year. I have Big 12 championship expectations right now. And for us to just make sure that we're embracing the process every single day, making sure we're doing what we need to do. If we get an hour of practice today, did we take the necessary steps forward to make sure that we're on track to win a Big 12 championship whenever that opportunity comes? And I think the answer to that is yes, every day that we step foot on that floor. So sticking to the process, trusting it, keeping momentum and excitement is what we're going to do this year. And I really believe that.
What does a successful first season as the Arizona women's head coach look like for you? I mean, like I said, you kind of just touched on it.
Yeah.
But do you try and make it a non-numerical thing? Is it more about kind of like you said, what kind of effort everybody's putting forth in practice, in games? What does that success look like for you in this first year, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's numerical ever. Like even if
Yeah.
we're in year 5 and we have the best team ever, like it's never numerical. Like I always approach every single year, like, did I get every single drop out of our players and our team?
Mm.
Did we reach our maximum potential? And your maximum potential is different every single year. If I feel like at the end of the year, we were playing the best when we needed to play the best, and I feel like, hey, we got everything we possibly could out of our team this year,
Yeah.
then I sleep really well at night. And more than likely, we won a bunch of games. And I know that I did my job. What I can control is if I do my job really, really, really well. And I sleep really well at night before games, knowing that our team is so well prepared. They know exactly what to do. Now they got to go out and do it, So it's the same thing throughout a season. At the end of the year, if I can say, from an overall standpoint, did we squeeze every ounce out of our players? And if the answer to that is yes, did we get everything we could out of this specific team? And this specific team is really different than the next team and the next team and the next team. But if that answer is yes, then we did our jobs, And so that's all I ask at the end of every season is that I sit down and I'm able to answer that question and firmly say, yes, you maximized your team's potential this year. And that's always what I aim to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to give the not only the Arizona fans, but the Big 12 fans a chance to know you a little bit better. And I want to ask, what does Coach Burke do when she's not on the basketball court? Because obviously we know from what you've said, you're competitive on the court. I got to imagine you're competitive off the court as well. What does that look like for you?
Very competitive. I enjoy just being active. Like I really, really love working out. I love CrossFit. I love just running, lifting weights. I love just like taking care of my body and being really, really intentional about, how I look and how I feel and all those types of things. And I think living in a place like Tucson, I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. I've really gotten into like cycling since I've gotten here. So hitting the bike and taking some really amazing bike rides on the road and through trails and things like that.
Mm,
But just love spending time with my wife and my son and my
yeah.
family. And this is just an unbelievable place to raise a family and have a family. And so when I'm not here, I'm either working out or probably chasing my little 16-month out around somewhere. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of downtime for us to have much more than a couple hobbies. So those would be mine.
There you go. Have you put a basketball in his hands yet or not yet?
Oh, he puts it in his own
Oh, there.
hands. So
Okay.
we just got him the little toddler basketball hoop. So he's loving it.
Nice.
Yeah, he's loving it.
What are you most looking forward to? Is there something that you're most looking forward to this year in your first year as the head coach?
There's always moments that stand out to you in a season, and um, I'm sure the first time I walk out into McHale before our first game is going to be give me chills.
Yeah.
I can't even walk out into the empty arena right now without getting chills. Like this is where I coach basketball. This is
Yeah.
unbelievable. The moments with your players where you chest bump them and whatever it is. Like there's moments in every practice. So you just look back on every season. You're like, man, that stood out, or that was a really cool moment, or wow, what a day, what a game, what a bus ride, whatever those moments are. And again, they just come naturally, and you embrace the process, the journey, the everyday of everything that we're doing right now. Well, I'll never get a chance again to have a year one at Arizona.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way that I think about it every single day. I get an opportunity to do this with these young women. They chose me. And I'm so thankful and appreciative of that. And I try to treat them every single day like they chose me for a reason, and how grateful, and show them the gratitude for that, and the gratitude for being here at a place like Arizona. So I just think just that probably that first moment in McHale, it's going to be really, really special if I could just pick one right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure, it's one of those things that you, like you said, you build those moments organically. So we're excited. We're excited for those to come for you. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us this week, and hopefully give the fans a chance to get to know you more and get excited about basketball. So best of luck this year, and thank you so much.
Thank you. It was awesome. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.